Hello and welcome to another short video, and this one is about a new tariff from Octopus Energy. They're the only ones that seem to be doing any sort of different tariff other than you're on the price cap, which is why I mentioned them so much. But sticking with them for a second, they launched last week a new tariff for heat pump owners. Now it's not so much the tariff itself, this heat pump tariff I'll tell you about in a second. It's the fact that we've now got a tariff which doesn't require an electric car to get. So the tariff I'm on, and a lot of people at the moment are on, whether you've got home battery or not and use that during the cheap period as well as your car, you still need a car. The terms and conditions state you need to own an electric vehicle or a FEV to be able to get the tariff. So a video I did a few years ago, which essentially was you can charge your battery at the cheap period and then utilise that cheap electricity through the rest of the day if it's big enough. That could save you hundreds, or will save you hundreds of pounds a year, and that's without solar, just the home battery. But then the terms and conditions were tightened up and it made the video semi-redundant because you needed the car and the home battery. But now, this new tariff, which is for heat pump owners, yes, you still need an expensive product, but you don't need a car. You need the heat pump, granted, which is cheaper than a car at least, but what that tells me is that time of day tariffs are getting more popular. They're not going to disappear. Again, it's quite a lot in any financial videos that kind of compare time of day tariffs with normal ones. If we all charge during the off-peak period, it will then become the peak period. I think you're over-egging how much energy electric cars are going to use. I mean, let's fast forward to a theoretical time where everybody is in an electric car. You're going to have 50% of the people-ish or households that can't charge at home, charging during the day predominantly on the public charging network, and then you're going to have the other half charging probably at night because it's cheaper. You've got industry, you've got people awake during the day. You will always have a disparity between night and day. And if you don't, if we end up with this balanced grid, it's decades away at best. And then we'd end up with a balanced grid, which is good. But we will always end up with off-peak periods. Probably more like Octopus Agile, which is where it fluctuates every 30 minutes. So the cheap 4 hours, for example, might be midnight to 1 o'clock, and then 2:30 to 4:30, and you get my point. It will be scattered around rather than just a set period like it is now with Go 12:30 to 4:30. So anyway, this for me is a good thing. It's looking to the future that is we're getting more time of day tariffs, and I can only assume that over the next year, in 2023 at some point, we have to get a tariff from somebody that's aimed at just home battery owners. So you just need the home battery, no car, no heat pump, just that. It would make sense. It's the last thing that doesn't have its own tariff that consumes a lot of energy. So that's really the main reason why I'm doing this video, because look, we're getting better, we're getting more. We're not out of this price cap, ridiculous electricity, gas prices yet, but I'm hoping within the next year or maybe a bit longer than that, we will get to some level of normality where other energy companies will be doing different types of tariff. They're all just kind of reined them in. They stopped doing them all because of this price cap thing. Oh, just stay with the price cap. We're not gonna think about doing anything else. So anyway, let me tell you about this time of day tariff called Octopus Cosy. It's not for me personally because I do have an EV. I do have a home battery. So for me, Go, or rather Intelligent, if it supports it, would be the best tariff still. But I'll tell you about it anyway because it's quite interesting. It comes with 3 different prices. You've got a day rate, a peak rate, and an off-peak rate. Now, the unique part for this over even the others is that it's got 2 cheap off-peak periods. So let me put it up now. The first cheap period is between 4 and 7 a.m. and that's just shy of 20 pence per kilowatt hour, at least in my region, because it does fluctuate. And then you've got another cheap period between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon, just before the peak rate kicks in. That is nearly 53 pence per kilowatt hour for 3 hours between 4 and 7, when it's peak time, of course. And then for the rest of the day, when you're not in either peak or off peak, you're paying 33p, which is just a fraction below the price cap. So I guess with the heat pump, you would do all your hot water during one of these periods. You will heat the house up, at least when it's not sub-zero anyway. You would heat the house up during the 4 till 7. Hopefully it will be insulated enough to maintain that heat. And then again, you would get it to kick in between 1 and 4. And that would then turn off before the peak 50 odd pence per kilowatt hour kicks in. Obviously, we'll be using some electricity during the peak period. It's called peak for a reason. But I would like to think that if you program the heat pumps properly, and they can use obviously a good amount of electric, then you would save more during the cheap periods than the peak would cost. Especially as you can run other things during the the off-peak periods. Things like your washing machine, your dishwasher, other high load appliances. So again, it's not so much this specifically, the Cosy tariff, that I'm more bothered about. It's the fact that we've got yet another type of tariff aimed at a different product, and fingers crossed we'll get another one for a home battery at some point in the future. If you are thinking of going onto Octopus Energy for any of their tariffs, not just this one, then there's a referral link in the description below. I do like a nice referral. That means that you'll get £50, I'll get £50. You can still transfer to Octopus. You have to ring them, you can't do it online. Once you become their customer, then you can put in the referral link. I'll put the instructions in again as a pinned comment and the description the description below. I've had a long day. Please forgive me. Anyway, I think we're done. That's this week's short video, and I think it's hopeful for the future when it comes to new tariffs. We're coming out of this crackers period where everything's expensive, or at least we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Fingers crossed. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.